We'll now go to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Gohmert, for his question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you know where I'm coming from, Mr. Attorney General. I've been a prosecutor. I've been a district judge handling felonies, including death penalty cases. I've been a Chief Justice of a Court of Appeals. I've been appointed to defend cases I didn't want to defend, but I did my very best job and did it well. I've had people come before me who were friends that I've sent to prison because that was consistent with justice of what I would have done to someone in their situation who was not a friend. I have sentenced the children of friends with a courtroom full of my supporters who were all begging me not to, but I knew if I was going to be consistent in justice, I had to do that. I've sent people to prison because it was the fair and just thing when considering all of the facts and considering what had been done in the past. And then I've gone in my office after sentencing and wept because of the personal anguish of those that I care deeply about. But I knew I did the right thing, and history has borne me out. So when I hear an Attorney General of the United States come before us and say, somewhat cavalierly, there is a political aspect to this office, it offends me beyond belief. Your job is justice, Mr. Attorney General. It's justice across the board. And that is what's been so troublesome around here. When we made a request a year ago here for the documents that your department has produced to people who were convicted of supporting terrorism, they're terrorists. And we wanted the documents you gave to the terrorists. We're a year later and we still don't have them. Why in the world would your department be more considerate of the terrorists than of the people who are members of Congress who can vote to just completely defund your department? It makes no sense. So I will ask again, and there is no room for a response that, well, it's an ongoing investigation. Well, some of these may be classified. I'm asking for the documents your department produced to the terrorist supporters convicted in the Holy Land Foundation trial. Can we get those documents, just the ones that you gave to the terrorist defendants?
Well, certainly you can have access to those things that are on the public record and that were used in the trial. I was also a judge. I sat in this Washington, D.C.
So is that a yes or a no that we will get those documents?
As I said, I was also a judge and understand the anguish that you go through. And just clear up one thing with regard to the political aspect of this job. I have to advance or try to advance legislation that I think is appropriate for the department. That is a political job. I push policy initiatives for the department. That is a political component. I fight defunding requests that people kind of cavalierly throw around about the budget of this department. That is, from my perspective, a political component to this job.
Sir, it is not cavalierly when a department has parts of it that are not doing their job and, in fact, may be giving more aid and comfort to people who are part of organizations who want to bring about an end to our way of life, then that concerns me that perhaps that is an area that should be defunded. And when you've been here before and we've talked about Fast and Furious, and you were asked who actually authorized Fast and Furious, you had said, we may not ever know who authorized Fast and Furious. Are you any closer right now as you sit here to knowing who authorized Fast and Furious?
I suspect that we are closer given the fact that the Inspector General that is charged with the responsibility of investigating this matter at my request has been in the field and been interviewing people, and my guess would be that we are closer to that. I would expect that report will be out relatively soon.
Did you not ever go back to your office and say when you found out about Fast and Furious, I demand to know who authorized this? Are things so fast and loose in your office that somebody can authorize the sale to international criminals of American guns that are bringing about the death of even American agents, and nobody has to do that in writing?
The gentleman's time's expired, but you can answer the question.
Well, let's look at what I did do. I asked the Inspector General to conduct an investigation. I put an end to the policy that led to the Fast and Furious debacle. I made personnel changes at ATF and in the U.S. Attorney's Office. We made changes in the procedures there. And that's in stark contrast to what happened to my predecessor, Attorney General Mukasey, when he was briefed about the transmission of guns to Mexico, and as far as I can tell, did far less than what I did.
So that was a different
if you want to look at what
aspect.
if you want to look at what I did, those are simply the facts.
My question, though, Mr. Chairman, was, did you go back and say, I demand to know who authorized this Fast and Furious program? That was the question. Pretty simple.
That's consistent with me telling the Inspector General, find out what happened here. So the answer to your question is yes.
The gentleman's time's expired. The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, is recognized for 5 minutes.